everyone, Darren here, and on today's episode of WoTC Academy, we're going to look at how to play the Tier 9 Russian tank destroyer, the SU-122-54. This tank is considered generally disliked by the community due to its lackluster armor, but after figuring out how to play the 122-54, you'll find it may actually be quite enjoyable. So, let's get started. So the armor on the 122-54 is actually stronger than its counterpart, the Object 704. I did not do a direct comparison of all other Tier 9 TDs. I only compared it to its other Tier 9 Russian brother. But you will notice right away that it does not feel all that well protected when playing it. However, you will find that the armor on the tank is acceptably reliable against a good portion of Tier 8 and 9 tanks, with only Tier 7s probably having trouble penning you from the front and would need to use premium rounds. But of course, Tier 10 tanks will look at you as a tasty snack. So make sure you keep this in mind when facing them and trying to avoid getting in their gun sights. As for the sides, rear, and top of the vehicle, as usual, be careful to avoid exposing them to an opponent, especially guns capable of dealing devastating damage with HE HESH rounds, or even artillery. Moving on to mobility, the 122-54 is actually pretty mobile. It is on a T-54 chassis after all. Now, with 54 kilometers per hour forward speed and an 18 kilometer per hour reverse speed, you will find yourself scooting around and sniping to sniping points with no problem and quickly relocating. As for the vehicle's 12% chance of fire, you may want to consider running a fire extinguisher, as doing so will bring it down to below 10%. But you can use food or gas if you wish to do so. Now, in terms of firepower, the 122-54 has a pretty good gun in terms of 122 millimeters, with a very good base accuracy of 0.32, a base reload of 8.5 seconds, and a manageable base aim time of 2.3 seconds. You really won't have a problem aiming in on and hitting your target, as well as putting up follow-up shots. As for the less than stellar gun depression of 4 degrees and an elevation of 16 degrees, you will have trouble fighting in and around ridgelines and hills, and more than likely will have to profile yourself on hills in order to get good shots. Now, how do you set up the 122-54? Well, I recommend running 20 AP, 15 heat, and 0 HE due to the limited ammo available. I also run a repair kit, a first aid kit, and a fire extinguisher due to the fire chance, but you can run food or gas if you wish to do so. For equipment, I run an advanced loader, improved vents, and advanced optics to improve the gun handling of the vehicle instead of concealment, simply because of a shoot and scoot, but you can change the tank up to suit your needs if you wish to do so. Now, for the commander setup, I recommend running the Brawling TD setup. Ironic, I know. I mentioned this setup in my commander video, but for the sake of this video, the recommended skills are the following, and in no particular order. Born Leader, Rapid Loading, Steady Aim, Sixth Sense, Track Mechanic, Situational Awareness, Off-Road Driving, Clutch Braking, and Run and Gun. I chose this setup again because it was the TD setup that best suited the shoot and scoot play style. Instead of focusing on concealment like the sniping TDs, having the ability to pretty much fire on your target and then quickly move to a different place and possibly even shoot on the move if necessary seemed like a much better commander setup than the sniping TD. Even though I do find myself actually sniping in this vehicle and not brawling. Now, how do you play the 122-54? Well, I found it very similar to the Audace CDA 105 French TD, if you have that. You are basically a shoot and scoot TD. You may not have a lot of armor, and you'll most likely take a hit if you are spotted, but you have the mobility to get around the battlefield with very relative ease, and get around to the flanks of enemies, or even move to an advantageous position. Get a couple shots off before you get targeted, and then move to another location before, all hell breaks loose. Sometimes you can even pull fantastic games from a static position, so long as you are in a position that allows you to support flanks while being ignored. Otherwise, that's really about it. It's just a shoot and scoot TD. It's not your traditional type of sit in the back and snipe or get right up in people's face TD. It's pretty much one of those like weird subclasses. But that does it for how to play it, the overview of this vehicle. Let's take a look at some gameplay. So here we are on Malinovka Winter. I do want to give a quick disclaimer that I had to record this one in the stupid method, where I was not ready to have a good game, and I had to actually go back and record the replay itself and try and mimic everything I did. I hate making these types of these clips, but unfortunately this game kind of was an excellent demonstration, and I needed to use it. So here we are, again, Malinovka Winter. We are on the northwest spawn, and I am actually platooned up with my marketing mentor, who is actually going to go to the hill and try and do some work. I don't have the ability or the armor to do that, so I'm going to try and sit and support and get some flanking shots on them. As you can see here, again, I roll up to a bush, spotted a target, fired, and then I immediately rolled back. I don't have the armor to kind of sit there. And at the same time, I'm kind of debating whether or not I wanted to roll back into the bush. I did have just enough gun depression to get a shot there, but as we can see, I'm rolling up, getting a shot, and then I am immediately pulling back and moving to a different location if I can afford, or if I have to move to a different location. If I can actually afford to use the same location again, I might pull up for one extra shot, but as we can see, I am not moving back to the same spot here. I am mostly shooting at one target, moving, selecting a different target, and just kind of not drawing a whole lot of attention to myself, because you will do that if you keep shooting at the same target to a point where some players will even straight up do absolutely nothing but shoot you the moment you poke out. So here I am, again, like what I was talking to my mentor about. I was going to sit here on his flank. I was going to try and punish tanks on their way up to him and the rest of the team that was up there. And I'm just sitting here looking for shots of opportunity right now. And so far, thankfully, I have not been spotted. I was just needing to watch what this guy was going to do. He was around there. I was wondering if he was going to roll around the ridge, but he didn't. So I redirected my focus up there to see if I could snipe one of the heavy tanks up there. And we're going to see that I do. Again, the gun accuracy on this is pretty nice. I did get lit. Took me a little second to realize that, oh, hey, I got lit. And I rolled back. I did get tracked, and I did take a hit. It was coming from the rear, but again, so I just flipped around, turned my attention. These were some tier 7s. And, because they didn't really have the ability to spot me, and I did have some bushes in front of me, I was able to straight up just safely farm them. They were so preoccupied with the tanks in their direct front that they really did not care about me, nor did they kind of really stand a chance when they, left me to my own devices. Put a blind shot out there on a tank I could not see, did take care of another tank. I believe that was the T-29. And so now I am refocusing on the tanks that are up there trying to get up to the hill. I did get spotted. As you can see, I'm moving. I realized I short stopped there simply because I knew that I was still spotted. If I crossed into that low section of that hill that I'm on right there, I could have gotten shot in the side. So I short stopped, waited till I went undetected, and then I moved. And as we can see, I am now relocating to a different position, as at this point the enemy team knows that there is a 122-54 there. So I did a quick bait and switch to where I looked like I was going a different direction, and then I completely turned around and I'm heading back to support my teammate. Now, we're also going to notice that there happens to be a certain other CC on the other end of the my reticle here. There's Sinster. Sinster is over there. Hello, Sinster. I did say you were going to be featured in one of my videos. Now you are. So, I did have to quickly turn around and deal with the tank to my 6 o'clock. It was a light tank here. And, yeah, I just kind of auto-aimed on that one, and it hit. He was too distracted by anything else. And now I'm going to sit here, and I'm going to help take care of the heavy tank that is over there. Unfortunately, I cannot identify these tanks simply because of the fact that when I record these, again, the quality of the video itself is actually lessened, so that way it doesn't do any buffering while I'm recording audio. So I can't read any of these names or barely even make out shapes. Apologies. So we seem to have the north handled. I do believe my platoon mate may have died already. I cannot tell you. But I do manage to take care of another tank here. I do not know if I actually got the kill, unfortunately. I even putting my face up right next to the screen, I cannot actually even read what that is saying. That is how bad the quality is when I record the audio. So, situation on the west side of the map has been dealt with. We are now moving to push up and apply pressure to the eastern side of the map. Sensors there. I do remember, I believe my teammate is actually still alive. And he's applying pressure to Sinster and getting him to back up. And putting him in my gun sights. And I take care of him. I'm sorry, Sinster. It had to happen. So, now, again, I'm just taking the place of a supporting role right now. I'm rocking back and forth, trying to debate what I'm going to do. Another tank pops up, shows itself. I believe that's a heavy tank there, crossing the open for no reason at all. Already has my number. I am lit. And this is when I'm like, all right, I'm going to just back up. Just going to back up. And then I'm, so the moment that I'm no longer lit, I move right back to the position. Not the smartest move right there, but I was in a position to where I could engage like 2 or 3 different targets right then and there. At this point, I'm feeling pretty gutsy. I'm not going to lie. I do pay the price for this. This is where, again, this is kind of just proving the point that you don't really have the armor to actually go and just get up in people's faces and brawl. So, here's in front of me a medium tank. It's an American, or I think it's a Pershing. You guys will be able to read it. I can't. I have to stress that I can't identify anything here when I record audio. So, I've engaged. I did get punished, as we can see. I am now down basically to a one shot here. So I try and get into the lowest possible cover I can get into to try and get some shots there. The enemy tank is not paying any attention to me whatsoever. So I put an auto aim shot on him. All I do is damage his tracks, and now I'm in a position to where I can knock him out. Kind of staying in this hole here because this is really the only protection that I have here. I paid the price simply because I decided to be stupidly too aggressive with this. So, everything's basically knocked out and I have no way of repairing it. But, hey, what do you know? Artie appeared and I put a shot in, almost completely knocking him out. And then another tank appeared. Thankfully, I have the trees in front of me that are providing some camo. I did knock down a tree. Probably wasn't the best idea, but I'm still not spotted, and this TD was not paying attention to me. So the rest of the tanks are pretty much hidden up back here, but I do not have the speed to go and take care of them. I simply have to wait for them to show themselves or pop up in an opening here. Now, I am going to go and apply pressure to this TD here in front of me. I do believe this is a Borsig. And I'm going to roll up. I'm going to put a shot onto him. And I'm going to try and back up. The reverse speed is not that bad, even with a damaged engine. And he gets taken out before I can put a follow-up shot. But this was a very, very, very good game. And you're going to see here that I am walking away with what looks to be over 8,000 damage raw with 7 kills. So, and then there is my platoon mate right next to me. But overall, a very, very good game in the 12254. And that concludes today's video. I'd like to thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this one, don't forget to subscribe. But until next time, this has been Darren of WoTC Academy.